celebrating his doc, the Reckoning, Sean Combs' The Reckoning being not only #1 in the US, but now #1 in the UK. And he posted some flowers, and y'all know 50 love being funny.
So here's where things get crazy. 50 Cent just dropped a documentary that has everyone asking why Snoop Dogg suddenly went quiet the exact moment it hit Netflix. And no, this isn't random at all. What I found digging into this is way darker and more uncomfortable than most people expected. Seriously. Online rumors and longtime insiders are now raising eyebrows, suggesting Snoop's name keeps popping up in uncomfortable conversations tied to Diddy's circle. No hard proof, just repeated claims that won't go away. That alone makes this situation feel off. Stick with me, because what I'm about to break down is wild and messy. Let's be real. You clicked this video because Snoop's sudden disappearance didn't sit right with you, and your instincts were on point. The timing is too perfect. 50 Cent's documentary, Diddy. The Reckoning shot straight to #1 on Netflix in both the US and the UK, and the internet exploded overnight. And here's the strange part. The second the documentary dropped, Snoop Dogg went completely silent. No Instagram posts, no tweets, no jokes, nothing at all.
Just so you know, Puffy's sons and my sons have been best friends since they were 6, 7 years old. I didn't make it happen and Puffy didn't make it happen. One night I was at my house and Puffy's son was over about like 9 o'clock. And I'm like, cuz, what time you going home? And he like, I'm spending the night. I'm like, did you tell your dad? He like, nah, my mom dropped me off. So Kim, rest in peace, was connecting my kids with Puff kids, and they formed a friendship and a bond. When Justin went to UCLA, my son went to UCLA. When Christian was rapping, my son was rapping. When he was modeling, they was flying over the world together. So they forged a friendship and a brotherhood that me and Puff always had.
For someone who usually stays active online, that silence speaks loud. So here's what we're breaking down today. First, why Snoop stepped back right when the Diddy conversation went mainstream. Second, claims from people close to the scene saying Snoop was around more than he let on. Third, long-standing moments that fans now see very differently. And finally, why certain past connections are being re-examined under a new light. Not accusations, just questions.
You, nephew, take that top card. When I die, I want my last words to be, I did it.
Hey.
Make sure you watch this all the way through, because the last detail flips the entire story upside down. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Before we go deeper, you have to understand one thing. Snoop and Diddy weren't just industry buddies. Their history runs deep, years deep, business, parties, and public appearances included. That context matters more than people realize.
Look, happy to have you back, my man.
Man, I ain't went nowhere. I'm closer than you think.
Yeah, man, I had to run it back. I mean, the people rock with you, so, you know, it was only right, man. So I gotta ask you, because over the years, man, there's been a lot of confusion. When Tupac got shot in Vegas, was Snoop at the hospital?
So Snoop didn't go nowhere near the hospital. So when it happened, as you know, for some strange reason, but now we know the real reason, Snoop did not attend the fight with us or the club, the after party at Club 662. And what's so crazy about that, we thought it was strange that he wasn't there. This is the first one he didn't attend. And according to Warren G and everybody else, now we know why he didn't. But to get straight to the point was this. I was at my house in Vegas, and I started calling Snoop, telling him, hey, what's up? You know, like, it's something wrong with this situation. Pac in the hospital, come holler at him, come check on him. So he drove down, and I was at the house waiting on him. And Tupac's mother was at my house.
When 50 Cent's documentary dropped, it instantly became the most talked about thing on Netflix. People everywhere started revisiting old clips, interviews, and stories tied to Diddy's alleged behavior. The documentary focuses on first-hand accounts, industry culture, and controversial party environments, all framed as allegations, not verdicts. And that's when everything changed fast. It gets intense here, seriously intense.
So, and Death Row, y'all don't love us? Y'all don't love us!
All on the record, dancing, come to Death Row.
But I was like, damn, we on the same record label. I know these people are really thinking like we are like
Coast, West Coast. We got beef with the people we got beef with. But we could go anywhere in the country because we are America's most wanted.
While the internet was buzzing nonstop, People reacting, debating, posting clips and opinions everywhere, Snoop Dogg said absolutely nothing at all. Complete radio silence. And for someone who usually comments on everything happening in hip-hop, that quiet feels loud. And it gets even stranger when you rewind the tape. Snoop once went on TV and openly talked about how close his family was with Diddy's family.
Can you hold it up a little bit more? Let me see how that... Oh, yeah, dang.
You know what I'm saying? We don't hold our man hand. We shake it and get it back in our pocket.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They got Diddy and Neo. And if you heard Neo's wife call him Little Diddy, that he like freak off, get high and get freak off. They all baby oil you up.
Oh, man, what the hell is that?
You know what I'm saying?
Yo. Not him and his son. That's his son, right?
Yeah.
He explained that their sons had been best friends since they were around 6 years old. That's not industry distance, that's personal ties. He talked about family gatherings, shared milestones, and how Kim Porter, Diddy's former partner who later passed away,
so was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because...
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is...
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood, but one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of, and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catch and kill.
Catch and kill, correct.
Wow, can you, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No, I
tape.
can't explain who the person was, but Mr.
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr.
helped keep the kids connected with play dates and family time. College choices lined up, music paths lined up, lifestyles stayed parallel. These families were linked on multiple levels, socially and professionally. So here's the question nobody wants to ask out loud. When someone that close to you becomes the center of serious public allegations, and your reaction is to vanish completely, what does that say? Wouldn't most people at least acknowledge the moment, even briefly, say something, anything? And to be clear, this is not an accusation. It's about patterns that don't line up cleanly.
He's a demon, bro. Dude is a demon. That dude was possessed with some kind of demon, man. He was possessed with some kind of demon. Want to be in all this red, this dark rooms with the music blasting. It had to be a certain temperature, a certain type of music for the vibration they were saying. Come on, bro. And I don't care what nobody say, man. And like, when people still talk and keep on talking, if that priest ever come out and he talking, if people keep talking, you'll find out that a lot of shit that Gene Deal has said has been the truth and nothing but the truth.
Silence isn't guilt, but silence during chaos raises eyebrows, especially when history shows deep connections. That's just reality. Before we go further, it's important to understand what people online are actually discussing.
I knew that Snoop Dogg, not again, mentioned him in December of 2020, but everybody beat the hell out of me. Screw you, that can't be true. What the hell do I know, right? And then recently it just came out again that Snoop Dogg got accused of trafficking children. And what did everybody do? Ooh, Snoop Dogg is at the halftime. I'm going to the halftime.
These are claims circulating about inappropriate party environments, questionable behavior in elite circles, and uncomfortable power dynamics. No proof presented here, just repeated stories being re-examined under today's spotlight. This gets heavy fast, so if that's not for you, it's okay to step back. But if you want to understand why people are rethinking Snoop's past behavior, we need to look at the patterns over the years. Once you see them, it's hard to ignore. This part hits different, seriously. People are resurfacing an old TV moment where Diddy once joked, "When I die, I want my last words to be, I did it." And now everyone's rewatching Snoop Dogg's reaction in that clip. That awkward smile, that pause, it suddenly feels uncomfortable in hindsight. Viewers say it looks like a private moment, almost like an inside joke that outsiders weren't meant to catch. No proof of anything.
I know that Snoop Dogg and Diddy were best friends with Tupac. Diddy is like a black Clinton. Anybody know that? Everybody say don't mess with Diddy. Diddy is like a black Clinton. Because, there's a black, so they say that nobody messes with Diddy. There's a reason for that. You can ask Kanye. He'll tell you. He's trying to. He's trying to. He really trying to, but in a minute he's gonna get a little sick. Probably not Martin Luther King, that's a whole other story. Martin Lawrence, that running out in the middle of the street acting a damn fool. He's probably gonna have one of those reset issues or something like that. And then I'll start it too that, Kanye didn't, but he's trying to. But then, programming breaks and then it clashes and then,
But the vibe throws people off. What once felt casual now feels eerie when watched through today's lens. And this is where the story takes a darker turn. Now let's talk about claims coming from Suge Knight, who is currently serving a life sentence. Because he's incarcerated, some people believe he has less incentive to protect reputations, though that's still up for debate. According to Suge, something unusual happened the night Tupac Shakur was shot in Las Vegas.
We thought it was strange that he wasn't there. This is the first one he did attend. And according to Warren G and everybody else, now we know why he didn't. But to get straight to the point was this.
Suge claims Snoop was originally supposed to attend the Mike Tyson fight with them that night. Tickets were secured, plans were made, and everything was lined up. Then suddenly, at the last minute, Snoop didn't show up. No fight, no club, nothing. And Suge says,
yeah, man, I had to bring you back. This documentary got everyone talking, man. A lot of people want to know why you wasn't in it, man.
Well, first and foremost, I thought I was going to be in the documentary at first until I started talking to that director. I think her name is Stapleton. I don't know her name. I don't know, man. Me and 50 talked like 45 minutes. The producers had been calling me and everything. So this one night, 50 called me up and, they got him on the phone. Me and him was just talking. We was talking about old time shit, sit down with Black Hands, sit down with, with Puff Kids, the whole Puff situation, and this documentary that he's gonna be doing. You know what I'm saying? So I told him that I was going to, have Kirk and Tim. Kirk will be the one who talk about the business part of it. Tim will be the one who talk about the growing up phase with Diddy and everything and over there working in the record industry with him and stuff like that. They was like family. And I was gonna talk about, the street stuff, what was going on with Bad Boy, with the security, with Wolf, with the city college, with the time that I knew about when I was with him up until about early 2004 or something like that. But basically the streets and then the traveling with him and the atmosphere and everything. And then go back into the Notorious Big stuff with the Tupac and the whole 9 yards, all the stuff that I knew.
That was the first time Snoop ever missed an event like that. After Tupac was shot and hospitalized, Suge claimed Snoop still didn't immediately appear. According to his story, Snoop was staying at a house in Vegas and repeated calls went unanswered. When Snoop eventually arrived, Afeni Shakur, Tupac's mother, was already there, deeply upset and emotional. Suge said Snoop told them Tupac was angry with him and didn't want to see him. Then, according to that account, Snoop became visibly emotional, crying and getting physically sick. That reaction struck many people as intense. Though reactions to trauma can vary wildly, still viewers today find it hard to ignore. Things get even stranger with another claim. Warren G, who is related to Snoop, later confirmed Snoop was at his house watching the fight on TV that night. Suge alleged Snoop had a walkie-talkie style radio with him. Not a normal one, but the kind typically used by event security teams at large venues. So here's the question people keep asking. Why would Snoop have access to a security-style radio while watching the fight at home? And why do some claim he could hear real-time chatter from Vegas? No evidence presented, just long-standing stories being revisited. And once people hear this, they start questioning everything they thought they knew. Here's where people really start connecting dots. Multiple witnesses have claimed they heard chatter over a radio shortly after Tupac Shakur was shot, with someone allegedly saying, "Got him." No recordings, no proof shown, just accounts people keep repeating years later. I'm not accusing anyone. Just laying out what's been said and letting you decide if that sounds normal. And it's not just one voice saying this. Fans have gone back and rewatched interviews from the 1990s, frame by frame. They focus on Snoop Dogg's body language around Tupac. People claim they see nervous energy, awkward positioning, and noticeable distance during key moments, especially during the East Coast versus West Coast tension. that stuff stands out now. Some fans point out that Snoop often appeared closer to Diddy's circle than to death row artists during that period. Back then, people were already whispering about loyalty issues. Those comments existed in real time, but they were brushed off because Snoop's public image felt too relaxed, too cool to question. Looking back, many now say the signs were hiding in plain sight. Now things take a darker turn, so brace yourself. A man named Courtney Burgess recently came forward, claiming he possesses what he says is the real personal memoir of Kim Porter. Not the version previously disputed by her family, but an alleged private collection of notes and materials she kept hidden. According to Burgess, Kim documented events, relationships, and moments she felt were important to preserve. He claims she held on to this information quietly because she feared backlash and powerful consequences. Before her death in 2018, he says she passed this material to someone she trusted. These are claims, not verified facts, but they've reignited serious discussion online. Burgess alleges the materials include photos showing well-known figures in unusually close or personal interactions. Nothing explicit shown publicly, but body language that some viewers find questionable. Faces were reportedly obscured in interviews, yet people focused on posture, proximity, and behavior that felt off to them. Interpretation varies, but it sparked debate. He also claimed similar images existed involving other industry figures like Neo and Andre Harrell, again stressing these are allegations, not proven facts. Many dismissed it as gossip at first, and honestly, that reaction makes sense. But then things shifted when Ariel Mitchell, a lawyer representing multiple alleged victims in the Diddy case, appeared on national television. She revealed someone contacted her attempting to sell an alleged tape connected to the investigation. And here's the part that shook people. She stated the other individual involved was supposedly more high-profile than Diddy. No names confirmed, no footage released, but once that statement aired, the conversation changed fast. And that's why people are now revisiting every old clip, every interview, and every silence with fresh eyes. More famous than Diddy himself. That's the part that made people freeze. The attorney, Ariel Mitchell, publicly confirmed she had seen still images connected to an alleged video. She stated the other person's face was clearly visible and recognizable. According to her account, the footage was filmed inside Diddy's Atlanta home, and she emphasized that the other individual did not appear aware they were being recorded. She explained that it didn't look like the person knowingly participated in the filming process. She also described the footage as explicit, though she legally could not release names or details. That restriction alone sent the internet into overdrive. Now here's where speculation exploded. Multiple online sources began claiming, without proof, that the unnamed individual could be Snoop Dogg. These are unverified claims repeated across blogs and forums, not confirmed facts. But people keep pointing to the timing and asking questions. And then people bring up Kim Porter's death in 2018. She passed away from pneumonia at age 47. And while officials ruled it natural causes, some online voices still find the timing unsettling given her alleged possession of sensitive materials. Important reminder, there is no official finding of wrongdoing connected to her passing. Now let's talk about people who were actually around the scene. Gene Deal, who worked closely as Diddy's longtime bodyguard, has spoken publicly about what he claims to have witnessed. He described unusual party environments, strange rituals, and symbolic behavior that he personally found disturbing. These are his words and experiences, not verified evidence. Gene spoke about themed music, controlled atmospheres, and spiritual symbolism he said made him uncomfortable. He recalled witnessing actions that felt ceremonial to him, though no proof has been shown beyond his testimony. He has also claimed that Snoop was present at certain events, stressing again these are allegations, not established facts. Things get even heavier when discussing Ali Carter, who has publicly spoken about abuse and exploitation for several years. She has accused powerful industry figures of harmful behavior, including both Diddy and Snoop, but none of her claims have been legally proven. Ali has said repeatedly that her allegations were ignored and dismissed online. She argues that celebrity influence often shields people from scrutiny. her statements raise broader questions about accountability, public perception, and who gets protected. Those questions don't accuse anyone, but they do make people uncomfortable for a reason. And that's why this conversation keeps growing. Not because of proof, but because of patterns, silence, and unanswered questions that people can't shake. So here's the question people keep asking. Why do we pick and choose who faces backlash based on how famous or beloved they are? Why do some names get protected while others get dragged instantly? That double standard makes people uncomfortable for a reason. Ally Carter also raised something that caught a lot of attention. She claimed that Snoop Dogg, Diddy, and Tupac Shakur were once close, but she strongly implied the loyalty wasn't equal. According to her opinion, Snoop and Diddy were aligned while Tupac was being left out. These are her claims, not proven facts. She even compared Diddy's influence to that of a powerful political figure, saying people don't cross him for a reason. She also pointed to Kanye West, suggesting that when he tried to speak on industry issues, his behavior suddenly changed and the conversation stopped. Again, this is speculation, but it adds to the unease people feel. Now, some of you are probably thinking, where's the actual proof? And that's a fair question. Here's what's publicly known. Federal investigators reportedly seized electronic devices from Diddy's properties as part of an ongoing investigation. According to unconfirmed reports, other industry names have appeared in sealed testimony. No details released, no conclusions drawn, but people noticed the pattern. Next comes the discussion about Snoop's storytelling over the years. There's a video circulating where someone analyzes inconsistencies in stories Snoop has told about Tupac. One example involves a claim about an encounter with Nas during the East Coast versus West Coast tension. Snoop described a tense situation, but Nas later responded publicly and said Snoop wasn't even there. Members of Tupac's close circle also said the same thing. That raised eyebrows. People started asking why someone would describe moments they weren't present for. The argument made in that video is simple. By inserting himself into Tupac's story, Snoop maintains street credibility and loyalty in the public eye. If people stop believing that narrative, his legacy could take a serious hit. That's an opinion, not a verdict, but it explains why fans question the motivation. Over the years, Snoop has spoken about Tupac often, sometimes emotionally, sometimes nostalgically. Critics now wonder if those moments were genuine or strategic. Again, that's interpretation, but it's why people are rethinking old interviews differently today. Lastly, people online have also brought up rumors about controversial industry initiation practices. I'm not going into details because they're disturbing and unverified. These claims circulate without proof and should be approached carefully. Still, the fact that these conversations keep resurfacing shows how much distrust exists around the industry's inner workings. And that's what makes this whole situation so heavy. Not one claim, but years of stories, silence, and unanswered questions stacking up. So here's what people keep pointing to. According to Suge Knight and other voices in the industry, Snoop was said to have passed certain unspoken tests, and that's when his career took off fast. Almost overnight, he went from rising rapper to untouchable superstar. That kind of leap makes people ask questions, whether you like it or not. Fans also notice something else that feels oddly symbolic. Snoop has joked for years about boiled eggs, posting them, referencing them, even turning them into a quirky part of his image. Some people believe it's just humor, others think it's coded signaling. Sounds wild, sure, but when people stack every detail together, they start seeing patterns everywhere. Now let's talk image control. When discussions around Diddy intensified, Snoop Dogg suddenly appeared everywhere in a positive light. Olympic appearances, major commercials, family-friendly branding, mainstream TV. That timing raised eyebrows. To some, it looked like a masterclass in public relations. Then there's Gene Deal, another former Diddy bodyguard, who explained why he wasn't featured in 50 Cent's documentary. He said payment disputes played a role, but more importantly, he claimed key details were left out. According to Gene, Snoop's name kept surfacing in behind-the-scenes conversations about who really knew what. Gene also referenced the 1991 City College tragedy, stating that the full story involved more people than publicly discussed. He implied that certain figures stayed silent, while knowing more than they admitted. Again, these are claims, not legal findings, but they added fuel to an already heated conversation. And here's something people can't ignore. Gene Deal and Suge Knight don't get along at all, yet both have made overlapping claims about Snoop's involvement and knowledge. When two rivals agree on the same third name, people start paying attention. That doesn't prove anything, but it definitely raises questions. Industry insiders also talk about coded language used to describe powerful gatekeeping. Phrases like sitting in the director's chair get tossed around as metaphors for influence and access. Some claim careers skyrocket after certain connections are made. These ideas remain unproven, but they're deeply rooted in industry lore. So let's bring this together carefully. Why did Snoop go silent when the documentary dropped? What's publicly known is this. Federal investigators reportedly seized digital material from Diddy's properties. An attorney confirmed alleged tapes exist involving highly recognizable individuals. Online sources speculate Snoop's name, but no confirmation has been made. Kim Porter is said by some to have documented relationships before her death, though no official evidence has been released. Insiders are speaking more openly now, and Snoop's response so far has been silence. Silence isn't guilt, but silence in moments like this always invites speculation. Think about it. Snoop is usually vocal, online, and quick with commentary. But when controversy hit close to home, he stepped back completely. Some see that as loyalty, others as self-preservation. Either way, it's noticeable. And here's the part that really has people uneasy. Multiple sources believe this investigation isn't finished. More names could surface, more testimony could be unsealed, and more questions could follow. That's why people think 50 Cent made the documentary in the first place. He might know more than he's saying. I know this is heavy, trust me. But conversations like this matter. We can enjoy music and still ask hard questions. Supporting accountability doesn't mean canceling without proof. It means staying aware and not blindly protecting power. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think Snoop is hiding something? Do you believe more names will come out? And if future evidence changes the story, how should fans respond? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. If you made it this far, salute to you for sticking through it. Make sure to like, subscribe, share this video, and tap that notification bell so you don't miss what's next. This is ScarFame, and we're keeping the conversation real. More updates are coming, more voices are speaking up, and this story is far from over. I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp and stay safe.